Same as Ever, by Morgan Housel. Morgan Housel's Same as Ever begins with the assertion that while everything around us appears to be constantly changing, technologies, markets, political landscapes, the essence of human nature remains largely the same. This central thesis sets the stage for the entire book, which is built around the idea that understanding the consistency of human behavior can give us an edge in navigating a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable. Housel introduces the concept of historical repetition by examining how human emotions and behavior patterns remain unchanged over time, despite advancements in technology and shifts in societal norms. He draws on the saying, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes," to illustrate this point. The examples he provides are powerful. Consider the repeated patterns of fear and greed that fuel financial bubbles and crashes. The specifics may differ. Think of the tulip mania of the 17th century, the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s, or the housing market collapse in 2008, but the underlying psychology of fear, greed, and herd mentality remains the same. Housel argues that by recognizing these recurring patterns, we can better prepare for and react to similar situations in the future. For instance, during times of economic prosperity, when optimism is at its peak, it's easy to forget that downturns are an inevitable part of the cycle. However, by understanding that human nature tends to overextend during good times, we can adopt a more cautious approach, avoiding the traps that have ensnared others throughout history. One of the most striking examples Housel uses to illustrate the consistency of human behavior is the story of Sir Isaac Newton's involvement in the South Sea bubble. Despite being one of the most brilliant minds in history, Newton lost a fortune when he got caught up in the speculative frenzy surrounding the South Sea Company. Housel points out that even someone as intelligent and rational as Newton could not escape the powerful emotions of greed and fear. This story serves as a cautionary tale that no one is immune to the influence of human psychology, and it reinforces Housel's message that understanding and managing our emotions is crucial to making sound decisions. Moving from historical repetition, Housel explores the theme of adaptability. He argues that in a world where change is the only constant, the ability to adapt is one of the most valuable skills we can cultivate. But adaptability, according to Housel, is not just about reacting to changes in our external environment, it's also about being willing to change our internal beliefs and strategies in response to new information. He emphasizes that rigidity in thought or action is often a recipe for failure, especially in a rapidly evolving world. A compelling example of adaptability is the story of Blockbuster and Netflix. Blockbuster, once a giant in the video rental industry, failed to adapt to the changing technological landscape. As consumers began to shift towards digital streaming, Blockbuster clung to its outdated business model, ultimately leading to its downfall. In contrast, Netflix started as a DVD rental service but quickly adapted to the rise of the internet and streaming technology, and later, it even pivoted to content creation. Netflix's willingness to adapt to changing circumstances allowed it to not only survive but to dominate the entertainment industry. Housel uses this story to illustrate that adaptability is not just about survival, it's about thriving in a changing world. The lesson here is clear: those who are adaptable, both in their personal lives and in business, are more likely to succeed in the long term. Housel's discussion on long-term thinking is another cornerstone of Same as Ever. He argues that many of the most significant achievements in life, whether in finance, career, or relationships, are the result of long-term efforts rather than quick wins. To illustrate this, Housel delves into the concept of compounding, a principle often associated with finance but applicable to many areas of life. He explains that compounding is not just about financial returns, it's about how small, consistent actions can lead to significant results over time. Housel uses the example of Warren Buffett, who began investing as a child and allowed his investments to compound over decades. Today, Buffett's wealth is a testament to the power of long-term thinking and patience. But Housel extends this idea beyond finance, suggesting that the same principle applies to personal growth, relationships, and career development. For example, in personal relationships, trust and understanding deepen over time, leading to stronger, more fulfilling connections. In terms of personal development, skills and knowledge accumulate gradually, leading to greater competence and expertise. Housel's broader message is that in a world obsessed with instant gratification, those who think long-term and are willing to be patient will ultimately achieve greater success and fulfillment. The idea of risk and uncertainty is another crucial theme Housel tackles, and he does so with a nuanced approach. He acknowledges that risk is an inherent part of life, but he differentiates between calculated risk and reckless risk. Calculated risk involves a clear understanding of potential downsides and taking steps to mitigate them, whereas reckless risk is taken without considering the consequences. Housel uses the example of the Wright brothers to illustrate the importance of taking calculated risk. While they are often celebrated for their daring innovation in achieving powered flight, what is less often discussed is their methodical approach to risk. They didn't just take risk, they meticulously studied, experimented, and learned from each failure, gradually improving their designs until they succeeded. This story highlights that progress often requires stepping into the unknown, but success is more likely when risks are carefully managed. Housel's insights on risk are particularly relevant in the context of personal finance and investing. He advises that while it's essential to take risk to achieve growth, those risks should be informed and well-planned. For example, diversifying investments is a way to manage risk by not putting all your financial eggs in one basket. Similarly, having an emergency fund is a way to prepare for unexpected financial setbacks. Housel's approach to risk emphasizes the importance of being prepared and making informed decisions, rather than avoiding risk altogether. The role of emotions in decision-making is another key concept Housel explores in Same as Ever. He delves into behavioral finance, a field that examines how emotions like fear, greed, and envy influence financial decisions. Housel argues that while we like to think of ourselves as rational beings, our decisions are often driven by emotions, sometimes to our detriment. He uses the example of market bubbles, where the fear of missing out, FOMO, can drive investors to buy assets at inflated prices, only to panic and sell when the bubble bursts. This emotional cycle of greed and fear can lead to significant financial losses. Housel suggests that cultivating emotional intelligence, understanding and managing our emotions, is crucial to making better decisions. He provides examples of successful investors who have mastered the art of emotional discipline. These investors remain calm and rational during market volatility, resisting the urge to follow the crowd. Instead, they make decisions based on long-term fundamentals rather than short-term emotions. Housel's advice extends beyond finance. He argues that emotional intelligence is vital in all areas of life. By developing self-awareness and emotional control, we can make decisions that are more aligned with our long-term goals and values, rather than being swayed by temporary emotions. One of the most profound messages in Same as Ever is Housel's redefinition of success. He challenges the conventional notion that success is about wealth, status, or material possessions. Instead, Housel argues that true success is about finding fulfillment and living a life that aligns with one's values. He shares stories of individuals who have found success not through financial gain but through personal satisfaction and purpose. For example, Housel tells the story of a schoolteacher who, despite earning a modest salary, found deep fulfillment in shaping young minds and contributing to society. This teacher's sense of purpose and the impact she had on her students brought her a level of happiness and satisfaction that far exceeded any financial reward. Housel's message is that chasing material success often leads to dissatisfaction, because there will always be someone wealthier or more successful to compare oneself to. Instead, he advocates for defining success on one's own terms, focusing on what genuinely brings joy and purpose. This might mean pursuing a passion, spending time with loved ones, or contributing to a cause that is meaningful to you. Housel's redefinition of success is a call to evaluate what truly matters in life, and to prioritize those things over societal expectations of wealth and status. In the realm of personal finance, Housel's advice is grounded in simplicity, long-term thinking, and emotional intelligence. He emphasizes the importance of living below one's means, a principle that is often overlooked in a culture that promotes consumerism and instant gratification. Housel explains that financial freedom is not about how much you earn but about how much you save and invest. He shares stories of individuals with modest incomes who were able to retire comfortably because they practiced disciplined saving and investing. These stories serve as powerful examples of how living within your means and making smart financial choices can lead to financial security and peace of mind. Housel also advocates for investing in low-cost index funds, highlighting how this strategy allows individuals to benefit from the growth of the market without the risks associated with stock picking. He uses historical data to show that over the long term, index funds have consistently outperformed the majority of actively managed funds, making them a smart choice for most investors. This advice aligns with his broader philosophy of keeping things simple, focusing on what you can control, and avoiding the pitfalls of greed and fear. As the book draws to a close, Housel reflects on the importance of humility and the recognition that we don't have all the answers. He encourages readers to remain curious, open to learning, and willing to change their minds in the face of new information. This humility, he argues, is what allows us to grow, adapt, and navigate life's uncertainties. Housel shares a story about the economist John Maynard Keynes, who famously said, "When the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do, sir?" This quote encapsulates the idea that true wisdom lies in the ability to adapt one's beliefs and strategies as new information comes to light. In Same as Ever, Morgan Housel offers a timeless guide to understanding the world and making better decisions. By focusing on the enduring principles of human behavior, adaptability, long-term thinking, emotional intelligence, and humility, Housel provides readers with a framework for navigating life's complexities. The book serves as a reminder that while the world around us may change, the core principles that guide us remain constant. By embracing these principles, we can achieve true success, make better decisions, find fulfillment, and live a life aligned with our values. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more engaging book summaries. We appreciate your support and enthusiasm. Drop a comment